Okay, it's time to get started. We're excited to see this large crowd here with us tonight, and it always excites us to see our community come out and be with us on our board meetings. So today is April the 14th. This is our regular scheduled monthly board meeting, and we always start out with the pledge and a prayer, and we'll call the order first, but I did call it to order. So anyway, we'll go ahead and start with our pledge and prayer, and tonight, David Walker will lead us in our prayer, and Commissioner Trisha Gardner will lead us in the pledge. So, Mr. Walker, if you will.
Okay, so stand. Bow heads. Dear Lord, we thank you for another privilege to be here tonight, dear Lord, to conduct the business of those people we represent. Dear Lord, I just pray that we do everything that would seek to bring honor and glory to your name, dear Lord, that would help the people in McDowell County, dear Lord. I know that there's a lot of people that are undergoing tough times right now, and dear Lord, I just pray you'd help us to be sensitive to that and to do our part to help those people. And dear Lord, I want to say that we appreciate the men and women that are in this room, dear Lord, that help daily to meet people when they're in difficult and dire circumstances. We just thank you for these men and women. And dear Lord, we just thank you, dear Lord, as we approach Easter for your Son, dear Lord, who came, dear Lord, who died on the cross for our sins and rose 3 days later. And we want to say we love you tonight and just bless this meeting. In your name we pray, amen.
Attention, salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do I hear a motion we approve the minutes?
So moved.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Do I hear a motion we approve the agenda for tonight?
So moved.
Second.
Any additions, corrections to the agenda?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye. Okay, first tonight on our appointments under item A is the McDowell High Impact Project, and we have Ms. Kendall Waugh here with us tonight to lead us off on that. Was you going to say something, Kendall, first, or just?
These amazing students are going to
Oh,
speak.
okay, well, great. Welcome, guys.
Hello everyone, thank you so much for giving us just a little bit of your time this evening. We are students and also representatives from McDowell High School. We are a part of the Chick-fil-a Leader Academy. And just a little bit about this academy. This organization focuses on leadership, and it specifically focuses on servant leadership. So usually about once a month, we come together as students and with the help of our club advisor, Ms. Waugh. We come together and we try to come up with ideas on how we can impact our community. So as a part of this, our participation in this academy, we were tasked with creating an impact project for our community. So when we were deciding on what to do for this project, we reflected on 2 recent events that had direct impacts on us as students, and that would be Hurricane Helene and the lockdown that we had on January 21st, and we knew that we needed to recognize and honor our first responders. So these events had direct impacts on us, but every day our first responders show up and they show out to protect and to serve our community.
Our impact project, McDowell County Hero Day, is dedicated to honoring the first responders who serve and protect our community. They reacted swiftly during Hurricane Helene, saving multiple lives. Without their attention to evacuation measures and rescues, we would have a different version of the devastation in our community. On January 21st, they knocked down the gate and swarmed our campus to protect us from the alleged shooter in our building.
While we were huddled away in our classes for safety, we heard the sirens of the first responders arriving on campus. Parents began to gather at the bottom of the hill, wondering if we were okay and waiting for a response.
SBI, police officers, and sheriff deputies began entering our classrooms to make sure the alleged shooter wasn't holding anyone hostage. They were armed, and we knew they were there for us.
We are so very thankful that this ended up as a hoax call. But for us as students, it was all very real and it was still very frightening. The feelings that we all felt, they were genuine and they were very real as well. But seeing how these officers showed up and how quickly they acted, it helps us know that these people are heroes who are ready to act when danger calls. We know if something this horrific ever really did happen at McDowell High School, our first responders would be there for us without any hesitation.
Not only did they make us feel safer on the morning of the lockdown, but their swift response has made us feel safer every day since. Through their selfless acts, first responders inspire us and show us what true heroism looks like in our lives.
To show our gratitude, the Chick-fil-A Leader Academy is hosting McDowell Heroes Day on May 27th. We will serve hot dogs and hamburgers to our first responders on this day. We will also be holding a 50-50 raffle to help raise funds for the cost of this event, as well as asking for donations from a select few local businesses. In the next few weeks, we'll be going around in our community asking these businesses to participate in McDowell County Hero Day to provide a free or discounted item from their menu or stock.
To make McDowell County Hero Day a lasting and impactful event, we are asking you, our county commissioners, to officially declare May 27th as McDowell County Hero Day, as an annual event to honor and celebrate our sheriff deputies, police officers, state troopers, 911 operators, emergency services, EMTs, paramedics, and firefighters. Thank you for allowing us to be here tonight.
Thank you. That was a great presentation, and I don't think you'll have any problem at all getting us to go along with declaring that day a special day for the emergency services. So do I hear a motion on that?
So moved.
Second. Got a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I'd also like to say something to you guys. I was there on that morning too. But what impressed me the most, sure, we know what our law enforcement, our EMTs, EMS, emergency services, we know what they're going to do. But man alive, when I saw when the doors opened and you guys were free to come out and go, it was just amazing the way the students had responded and acted. And, you know, I had 3 grandkids up there. Was I worried? Sure. But I knew they were in good hands. But you guys were, in my book, the heroes.
Thank you, sir.
And Mr. Chairman, I want to add, excellent presentation. Y'all did an outstanding job here tonight.
And an additional thanks to our McDowell County Public Schools for the good job that they do. And you guys help manufacturing such talent as we have here tonight, and we appreciate that.
Yes.
All right, next on the agenda, item B, will be the McDowell Economic Development Update, and we have Mr. Chuck Abernathy here somewhere to give us that.
Thank you. I apologize for not getting this sooner, but it was 2 years dated, and I didn't want to send you something that far out. Okay, Haskins are in order, or are we?
Yeah, just an intro, if it's okay, Mr. Chairman. The board had asked that each funded nonprofit, which includes META, contracted come in and do an update over the budget period in the spring. And so Mr. Abernathy is going to talk about a little bit of history and background and what META does for the county. It's a lot, of course, hard to squeeze it into 5 or so minutes, but he'll do that, and also talk about a couple of projects we've been talking about at the META board meetings that we think you would like perhaps to endorse tonight. So.
Okay, thank you. And I'll be brief unless you have questions where you want to detain me. So what I've done, maybe do the program of work first. Our budget's $179,000. We operate on 1 full-time position and a half-time, a 20-hour position. A lot of your economic development groups are equipped quite a bit larger than that, and I'm not here to ask for more. Every county has a point that is the point of contact for NC, EDPNC, or the Department of Commerce. And the McDowell Economic Development Association is that point. We are a nonprofit, but quickly say we are largely dependent on the county for our existence. So it's an interesting situation. We're a legal entity that's separate, but there's no legal entity if the county chose to do something different. And so we're dependent and appreciate the assistance that we do receive. Historically, what EDCs did, and some still do, I won't say many, but some still do, is they focused on existing industry retention and expansion and new industry location to the community. And if you rewound McDowell County 20 years ago, that's pretty much what this organization did. They did not get involved in commercial recruitment or housing or trails or any of the things that we're now involved in. The whole thing has broadened out. So we still are involved in existing industry services, and I can explain that. We are involved in new industry location. If an industry is suffering, we're here to try to facilitate their success. We're heavily involved in commercial recruitment, and we have gone into that more than most, I think, have done. And so we're probably almost as involved in that as we are manufacturing. And so a lot of commercial recruitment happens on its own volition, but some doesn't. And so we're involved there. Housing is, if you say, Chuck, what's the real issue that we're facing? I always answer that question with education and skill level and making sure that our young people are trained to handle the jobs that are coming at them. But there's some close second and third to that anymore. You got to have good product, and truthfully, housing is really holding us back. And so the Economic Development Board recognizes that, and we're actually involved. And I've got some slides and some statistics that you can look at. But we are involved in trying to affect the construction of spec homes. That is hard. It's really kind of a market thing more than it is something that government can affect. But what we've done is we've identified commercial and housing sites that have got water and sewer. We've assembled a package for that. We've identified larger companies. We've talked to our local companies and there's one or two that do spec housing, but it's not on a real large scale. And so we talked to our locals, but then we've been in the process of trying to recruit, a W.K. Dixon or the larger company, and they've been here and they've looked, as have other companies. So we're trying to get a handle on that. The Neil Gurney's group says that we're 900 homes short, and that number was prior to the hurricane. So we might be in the 1,300 range as far as homes that are needed. It affects our tier ranking. It affects our existing industry when they decide where they're going to expand. If there's not suitable housing, then people may locate somewhere else. So we've been spending a lot of time on that. Workforce development, which links into education, we are involved in that. We've had a study of our workforce. We are third in the state of North Carolina and one of the highest counties in the nation as a percentage of our workforce employed in manufacturing. We're 3 times the state and national average at just around 40%. The average is around 12. So our workforce has got to transition. We've got to support education and support the community college and come up with innovative ways. And we're working on that. And in another setting with more time, I would go into it. Do you have questions before I go into the two items that I'm kind of here for. You got, Mr. Ellis is on the board. Ashley attends diligently and participate, and we appreciate your support. Okay, is Heather here? Come on. My partner. I don't like doing things alone.
Hold his hand.
So how about if I lead tonight and you lead in front of City Council?
That sounds wonderful.
Okay, but you chime in. So what is happening is a great deal of commercial development, primarily on Sugar Hill Road. And we can talk about why that's the location versus other interstate interchanges in McDowell County. There is an engineering report or tool called a TIA, and that stands for Transportation Impact Assessment. See, we're a team. And so a study like that analyzes ingress and egress of a particular area and then looks at what needs to be done, one, to make sure that you don't have a negative issue, and two, it gives you a tool that you can hand to prospects and in an effort to try to recruit those commercial businesses to the county. So what we're talking about is asking that one of these be conducted. And the area that we're focused on two. One of them's not going to be necessary, and I'll talk about Old Fort in a minute. But the area that we're focused on is from basically the Walmart or a Fairview interchange going back towards town to, what's the street?
Yeah,
Meadow Lane. Yeah, to Meadow Lane. And we'll actually go a little past Meadow Lane. So the idea would be basically commercial recruitment 101 is no left-hand turn, no project. You know, meaning a traffic signal where a vehicle can get out and make a left. It's really kind of fun to drive around and look and notice where those opportunities exist and where they don't. And so the goal or the thought is that a traffic signal on Meadow Lane would facilitate about 8 or 9 parcels of property, some of which have had interest by commercial interests, but they've looked at it and said, you know, minus a traffic signal, we're not interested in those locations. So a TIA is conducted by a professional engineering group. They cost about $12,000. What we've talked to the county manager about and others, the meter board has endorsed this, but what we have talked about is having a combination of the city and the county split that with the property owners that are going to be positively affected by it, and that we ask for authorization to have that done. So that's one of my 2 items. You have questions, or you have something to add?
I don't have anything to add, unless you'd like me to add. That from a planning perspective, I think it's a valuable project because it allows us to define how transportation and traffic will flow on Sugar Hill Road, which is a major thoroughfare into the city of Marion from outside the community, which has an impact on all elements, from just convenience to access to public safety and getting to other areas of the community. So as a planner and staff person for the city of Marion, I'm supportive of this project.
Let's go ahead and,
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we go ahead and approve the request for the county involvement with other partners at $1,500. Is that correct, Mr. Wooten?
I think it might be a little bit more if you did so you're asking for the public entities to do 6,000 divided by 3,
Yeah.
so there'd be 2,000 apiece, I think.
I modify that motion to raise that to $2,000. And is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Second.
you're authorizing up to 2,000.
2,000.
Second.
any discussion?
That'll get it done. Barely.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
With the goal of bringing more diverse eateries and that type of thing to the community and retail, commercial.
Speaking of eateries, we sell a lot of chicken in this county.
All right.
A Chick-fil-A would be one.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. And it's
And
probably
as
the
we can
most.
see, Chick-fil-A is very involved in our local high school already with Heroes
are.
Day.
And I'm just smiling. I'm at a loss for words. So, yeah, we'll do it. But that is the kind of thing that you have to have.
Yes.
And so, okay, the third thing, actually, you want to cover it, or?
Yeah, I can, and maybe I'll.
You go ahead.
We'll tag team on this one. In a related, we do have two municipalities, and we care equally for them, of course. In a lot of the same ways, you're seeing transportation challenges in Old Fort based on new development and new attractions in the way of enhanced attractions with Catawba Falls. If you look at the area on Bat Cave Road, at the interchange there with Interstate 40, you have a two-way ramp going on Catawba River Road. You have an area with no traffic signal currently. You have a McDonald's, you have a service station, you have a new convenience store and fast food opening in that immediate area. And so there's a lot going on. And so this is something we've actually met with the town probably about a year ago with DOT about this area, expressing a concern to them together, the town and county, to DOT about that, the growing traffic. This is before Helene. And they said, well, let us study this. And then Helene happened, and they've been a little bit preoccupied, of course. Mr. Abernathy did have a conversation with our district engineer a month or two ago and said, can we get this back on track as far as a study, if nothing else? And so I have spoken with the mayor of Old Fort and the town administrator. There's interest in, at this point, again, no money here, but a letter going to the division engineer in Asheville requesting that they improve that interchange. Not just, they need to study it first, but really the request is that they improve it for safety and for access.
Mr. Chair, make a motion to approve the letter as requested.
Yeah, we asked DOT if a similar study would be helpful in Old Fort, and they said that they're conducting it within their own means. And they said a letter of support would be helpful, that would divide the exit ramp from Catawba River Road, and then perhaps a rotary might be located there, and then that might give you the distance. There's a new store going in south of Old Fort, and it may give you enough room there to do something that would help Old Fort. And we did talk to the mayor and got their blessing.
Second the motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second.
So thank you.
Any other discussion on that? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you, Chuck.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda tonight, item C, will be the Helene update and some staff recognition. So we've got Mr. Kehler here tonight to take care of that.
Can you all see this?
Not yet. Not yet, it's still dark. There it is. Was.
There it is.
All right. Thank you very much for allowing us to be here tonight. One, to provide an update for Hurricane Helene and recovery efforts, but also to recognize the EOC staff, which I've been wanting to do for many months now, and show you the work courses and introduce the work courses of the EOC to you in a public setting. I want to start off tonight by recognizing our 911 telecommunicators. It is National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week, and we have our 911 manager, Emily Buff, if you'll stand up. Lieutenant Stepp here? Lieutenant Stepp's not able to make it, but these two ladies operate and oversee the 911 center along with our
Stand up again, please.
our great staff. And this is a week for us to recognize the just extreme amount of work, important work that they do here in our community. And they literally are the glue that holds public safety together, because they are the first point of contact for our citizens and do a magnificent job. You've seen this slide many times since Hurricane Helene struck September 27th, the EOC operation and the different sections that continue to be activated, and I'll speak on those in just a second. From a situation update, we still have roadway NC-80 that is closed above the school bus turnaround only to local traffic. Work is continuing in that area, but that is the only major road that is still impacted at this time. We still have the temporary bridges in place on US 70 West and 221 North at Mountain Paradise Campground. As far as our lakes, we are working with FEMA and US Army Corps of Engineers to get a defined scope of work for Lake Tahoma, working with City of Marion regarding the water plant and making sure everything is covered when that project begins. Lake James debris removal is ongoing. That is being performed by Duke Energy. A community comfort station is now closed at Old Fort. It was demobilized today, and that was the final community comfort station in McDowell County since Helene. We have transitioned since the last update from a disaster recovery center at the lower level of the senior center to a disaster resource center, which is now housed at our headquarters facility at 129 Barnes Road. There are representatives from FEMA, the Small Business Administration, North Carolina Emergency Management, and of course our staff that are there to assist folks who still need assistance with their current application. The deadline to apply for a FEMA assistance ended April 7th, but folks who have active applications can still come to our facility Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., and folks are there to assist with questions, uploading of documents, so forth. Temporary housing update, TSA or Transitional Shelter Assistance provided by FEMA. There's currently 5 families in hotels since Helene hit, and that is provided by FEMA through the TSA program. That is down from 15 when I was last here on March 10th. Direct housing is currently at 0. Those are individuals that are in the FEMA queue for needing a FEMA trailer or a direct lease. That is down from 3 on March 10th. And as a reminder, those numbers are people that have registered with FEMA and have their status updated on their FEMA application. VOAD projects in McDowell County, as a reminder for those in the audience, VOAD is Volunteer Organizations Assisting in Disasters. This has been led by Jerry Lewis at Grace Community Church with Victoria, our assistant VOAD coordinator who's here, and I'm going to recognize her in just a little bit. 489 families have applied for VOAD assistance for emergency housing repairs. This group, who has worked probably 30, 40 organizations plus at this point, really from all over the United States, and it's been coordinated through the VOAD at the EOC. Out of 489 requests, 349 have been completed. That number is up 46 since the last time I was here on March 10th. There are 64 pending projects. All of those projects are adopted by a volunteer organization or a nonprofit, and then our staff is still trying to contact 76 of the folks who registered, but we've been unable to contact or make contact with them. That is a significant amount of progress with emergency housing repairs, and it could not have been possible without the close coordination of Jerry and Victoria and all of the nonprofits that show up week after week after week from all over the U.S. To assist the families that are still in need here in McDowell County. On the debris front, right-of-way debris removal is complete. We filed 64 different hotspot locations that we want to see further cleanup on the right-of-way. We filed that on Friday afternoon, and Army Corps and Ashford are working that list actively. Waterway debris, is ongoing, and there is a massive amount of work around waterway debris and significant progress since the last time that I was here providing an update, and I'll give you those numbers in just a minute. And then personal property debris removal. We've said this for months. We are pushing the message on social media. We are preparing to do a mass call that we think will hit about 21,000 phones. We hope to get that out this week to residents in this county. If we have residents that still have storm debris on their property, they have until May 1st to apply at our headquarters facility, 129 Barnes Road. That is a program that, if approved by FEMA, the Army Corps contractor will come out and remove eligible storm debris free of charge. That can include leaners, hangers, trees that are posing significant danger to the improved piece of the property. This does not include, if you have 10 acres of forest land, it does not include the removal of those trees from the forest. This is on improved property, near the structure, near the road, the creek on the improved property. Folks need to take advantage of this. After May 1st, the application period is closed. And that could be the difference of tens of thousands of dollars for some of these people. We're using door hangers, we're doing boots on the ground in our ops division to make sure we're hitting hard impact areas. It's all hands on deck trying to make sure we do not leave someone behind in PPDR.
On that there, William, does that include farmland?
It does not include farmland. We are referring folks to the FSA office for that, and I know that's been a question that has
It
come
would
up.
cover a stream that's on a farm, wouldn't it, that is, has blowdowns across the stream?
It could potentially, I mean, if you have something like that, I would send it to us so we can look at it and see if we can approve it.
I would also say the worst thing that can happen is they apply and then they're denied. As we're getting down to the end of the application period, I would encourage them to apply. The application period is very simple. I think 10 to 15 minutes. I know Commissioner Walker's been down and it
Yes,
wasn't
sir, very
difficult at
efficient.
all.
Your staff is great.
But folks have got to take advantage of this. It is open to small businesses as well. So that's a big plus for the business community. Here's our debris timeline. March 1st was the first pass right-of-way complete. We met that. This timeline is from U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. Right-of-way final pass, 100% complete. They're still working on hot spots. We're not going to get hazardous waterway debris by May 1st. There's simply too much waterway debris still out there. Overall, they're hoping to have debris operations wrapped up by June 30th. We've got nearly 900 personal property debris removal applications. It's going to go past June, I do believe. So I covered a little bit of this on PPDR, or personal property debris removal. As of this morning, we had 861 applications into our office. Our first project, it was awarded by U.S. Army Corps of Engineers over the weekend or on Friday, but it will start tomorrow afternoon. And we expect two-star general from U.S. Army Corps of Engineers to be on site to kick off the PPDR project here in McDowell. Here's the big slide with the numbers. 762,563 cubic yards of debris has been removed so far from McDowell County. The last time I was here, I think we were at 540,000. So another good month of debris removal. That estimated remaining, that is going to change 83,000. That is simply what the number is showing now. We've got hundreds of thousands of what we believe to be cubic yards of debris still in the waterways. So you're going to see this number, I think, well over 1 million. And with PPDR, it could certainly push 2 million. Waterway debris, what I would call your attention to on that slide is the sites identified and approved are 700 and I think that says 23. That print's very small. But they've only cleared so far 177 of those waterway sites, and they've removed 646,000 cubic yards from 177 sites. We still got a ways to go, and you can see the amount of cubic yards that's probably going to come out. I mean, this is a massive operation. I think I skipped a slide there, probably one of the most important for our citizens, and this is where progress has been extremely slow, and we push FEMA, we push the state every single week to move faster with regards to private roads and bridges. We still have people that are not able to reach their house. They're carrying groceries across a makeshift bridge, or some people may even still be fording the creek. And we've got to make more progress on this, in this area. This link here, and folks can call our hotline. You don't have to write this down. We'll be glad to direct them to this state website where they go and fill out an interest form saying my bridge, my private road was damaged, it's out, and we're filing for state assistance. What we're in the process of doing is today we asked the state to to query that data and send all of the registrations for McDowell County. We want to cross-check it with our own internal damage assessment list and see who filed an initial claim with us or initial report. And if they haven't filed a claim with the state, is reach out to make sure they are aware of the program and that they take advantage of this opportunity. Hazard mitigation. Deputy Director Jones continues to lead the hazard mitigation program. We've got 34 families that have applied for acquisition, 21 for elevation of a structure. Deputy Director Presley is leading our generator project. We've got 17 generators between the town of Old Fort and our own internal here at McDowell County. 17 critical facilities that we want to see further protected. This is either a replacement or a new generator for future storms. 12 landslide applications from families, and then we're currently in the process of developing our wildfire mitigation application. So what's our priorities over the next 30 days? Continue addressing the critical needs of our citizens. Our staff does an amazing job of immediately working with these citizens when a call comes in. It doesn't sit there for 3 or 4 days. These folks are on the phone. They're trying to track these folks down, utilizing a holistic approach, working with all of our partners that we work with on a daily basis. And how can we fix the problem? How can we meet the immediate needs? And then refer them to the right organization. We're going to continue pushing the envelope on debris operations, complete right-of-way hotspots, continue waterway debris removal, and then we're going to push this up to the deadline on PPDR to make sure everyone that needs debris removal has been made aware and they have the opportunity to take advantage of the program. Housing repairs, continuing to work to see all the projects completed. Hazard mitigation, continuing to work with the City of Marion to finalize their generator project list, and then working, this will take years. As far as the FEMA reimbursement, the final closeout of our facilities that were damaged, the whole FEMA process behind the scenes will take years to finalize and complete and close that out. Here's what I've been looking forward to for months, is to recognize the team, the folks that you've saw me give this report, and you've always heard me say it's the folks behind the scenes that are getting the work done, and they push and push and push the needle every single day. I first want to start out by talking about if we were to bring in everybody that helps and supports the EOC, you would have to put us at the McDowell High School gymnasium. Many of these partners in here, I've seen so many tonight, they support the EOC. The staff that I'm recognizing tonight is the core staff of emergency services that we work together every day, that have full-time jobs in other divisions in emergency services. But they've put on 3 or 4 hats, and they've done that pre-Helene, and they continue to do it today. And I want to make sure everyone understands we sincerely appreciate fire, rescue, law enforcement, everybody who's responded to Helene. Tonight I wanted to recognize our key staff at emergency services and tell you some of the things that they're doing. Here's just a couple quick pictures inside the EOC during Helene. These folks showed up on September 25th on a Wednesday morning. We activated the EOC. We had a full day of planning. We were moving equipment even before the EOC activation on a Wednesday. They showed up that morning, and many of those folks did not know that when they left their house on Wednesday morning, they would not be back for over a week. And that's what happened. We had the predecessor rainfall event, and we were having flash flooding Wednesday night when over 20 swiftwater rescues were performed in Old Fort. These folks went with no sleep Wednesday night. Thursday morning, it was wide open because we knew we were in big trouble. The creeks were at an all-time high again, and the storm had not even made landfall in Florida. Many of these folks still did not go to bed on Thursday. They did not go home Thursday night because we were doing swiftwater rescues and evacuations on Thursday night. Friday hit, and none of us had ever seen the devastation, of course. And many of these folks had to be made to go home or take 2 or 3 hours and find a room, find a cot, and lay down. Not one time did I ever have any person on this EOC team say, I can't do that. I'm not going to do that. It was always, what else can I do? Give it to me. Give it to me. You're not going to do that. I'm going to take that off your plate. That's the kind of professionals that show up at that office every single day. And they show up because their why is that citizen. They understand the why, and they never question the why. And even to this day, in recovery, they address the person who doesn't have running water with urgency, just like they did a swiftwater rescue back during our response phase. That's the commitment of these people. That's what they've given this community, even before Helene. I've worked these disasters. We've worked COVID together. We've worked Alberto. We've worked Florence. Many of us worked Francis together in 2004. That's who you have serving this community. And I want the citizens of this community to know. You see that in the fire service. You see it in law enforcement. You see it in EMS. You see it in nonprofit groups. People show up for one common reason. And it's a true honor to work beside these people. It's the honor of a lifetime to get to serve alongside them in the EOC. Operations Section Chief Andrew Presley. When I call your name, if you'll stand. On his daily job is Deputy Director of Emergency Management and Fire Marshal of the county. But he serves as the Ops Section Chief in response and in recovery. This Operations Section coordinated with precise, laser-like focus over 100 air rescues, 100 citizens that were rescued and countless animals in a helicopter after Helene. Over 200 ground rescues. These are people who were clinging to life in water, in a life-threatening situation, that were precisely rescued by all of these teams across McDowell County, with Andrew at the helm guiding this. Division Supervisor Andrew Worley. On a daily basis, he's an emergency manager or emergency management planner. He's working Division Supervisor. You see this guy running the Crooked Creek District, the Old Fort District, up 221 North, and then all points in between. These guys were in Glenwood and Sugar Hill today, boots on the ground, giving out PPDR flyers. Division Supervisor Sam Robinson. He's an EM planner. These guys have hit the ground, and I wish we had hours to sit and tell the stories of what these folks have been through and what they've seen and what they've done. Sam, we've worked a lot of storms together. A lot of times Sam will be our nighttime IC or our ops chief at night. Division Supervisor Taylor Leopold. And Taylor's everywhere. She's in ops. She's can work plans. And what I like about this team is we can have one person out and they just fill in. They're cross-trained. Taylor does a wonderful job. She's assisting Adrian or Deputy Director Jones with the Hazard Mitigation Program, which is a very labor-intensive program at the county level. Division Supervisor Brad Washburn, he works part-time for us since Helene, and appreciate everything he has done. His primary job is Fire Chief at Ashford North Cove. Debris Coordinator Lisa Morgan came on part-time after Helene and started the right of entry forms to get debris removal. She's been our debris coordinator and has done a magnificent job. Lisa, thank you. Planning section, if there's one person that wants to choke the incident commander, it's normally the planning section chief. Because every time we change strategies, he's got to make sure that the documentation changes, the objectives change. But he's done a great job. He's retired Forest Service Ranger out of McDowell County and has come back serving the Forest Service because of some of their open positions, but has worked as our planning section chief prior to Helene, during Helene, and now still writing an incident action plan every week, and that's the document that guides our strategy. John Reese is our planning section chief. Next, situation unit leader Angie Wright. Angie and I have worked together since the late 90s. I have been through many storms. On her daily job, she is the 911 addressing coordinator. If you get a new address in McDowell County, it comes from Angie. That is critical to the 911 system. But Angie is another person in the EOC that is in all the divisions. She's worked ops, she's worked situation unit leader, she does finance. Extreme value in the experience that she brings to the EOC, and I sincerely appreciate her. Thank you. I feel like we missed the applause on the ops section.
Yeah, we're gonna have everyone.
Let's give them a... Communications unit leader. She can hold the ship at that 911 center. During Helene, I think it had been 48 hours and I had not heard from Amberly. And I told Stacy, her husband, I said, you got to go get Amberly. I don't care what you have to do, what radio you got to use or whatever. I need to talk to Amberly just to make sure she's okay. She didn't call because she had it all under control. Even when water was coming in, she had it under control. And the job they do up there is amazing. And I want to recognize her. She is the 911 manager, and she also serves as our comm unit leader to make sure our communications is running during a disaster. And her assistant, Karen Stepp, who is a 911 lieutenant on Blue Sky Days. Thank you very much. Our Helene hotline coordinator, so since Helene struck 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, she's had numerous people working under English or Spanish, speaking for whoever calls in. And she has fielded, and her team has fielded so many requests, people that are looking for help, people that want to talk. And I could go on all evening about what she's done. She's everywhere too. She's training officer for EMS on Blue Sky Days. But she's put on her EOC hat and she's never let up, assisting me and Adrian and Presley at every turn. Captain Agreda, thank you very much. What I also want folks to remember is the show has to go on as far as our daily responsibilities. EMS runs 10,000 calls a year. The 911 center will process nearly 100,000 calls a year. All of this doesn't stop in the midst of a recovery. We had folks step up to the plate prior to, during, and after. Captain Mitchell Ledford, he's now serving as our EMS manager for EMS and has done a magnificent job taking the reins and making sure EMS does not go backwards while me and Adrian are pushing forward with recovery. Thank you very much, sir. Medical unit support, our CP coordinator, Katelyn Calloway, I think is here. She's not, but has done an amazing job supporting us. And Captain Jake Leopold, I think he left on the call. But he served in an interim supervisor role, assisting EMS and staying the course. And done a super job. Our finance section, Angie Wright, Sherry Dixon is here. Sherry came to the EOC during COVID, and I told her it'll probably only be a couple months in COVID. We had 730 days in the EOC. And then here she is for Helene. But she's been a real trooper, and I so appreciate her and Angie and what they do for finance. I also want to recognize Carol Wolfenberger. Many of you all know her from the community. She has been so valuable for the EOC. She managed our missing person list with over 1,000 people on that at one time. I think there was one night she may have worked 16, 18 hours, maybe around the clock,
She stayed up the whole night.
trying to scrub the list and make sure it was, we were finding people as fast as possible. The amount of commitment from these folks are crazy. Deputy Director Adrian Jones, she's serving as the Deputy Incident Commander, Public Information Officer, until we got part-time PIO in. She's leading our hazard mitigation program. She keeps me straight every single day, but I'm so appreciative for her and her leadership. Thank you very much. Desiree McLaughlin is our liaison officer, who's also transitioned to lead our recovery with FEMA. Is Ms. Finley still here? No, I was hoping Ms. Finley was still here because I always brag on Desiree. She's a graduate of the MHS Public Safety Program. She came as a full-time senior medic from EMS and is now leading recovery with FEMA and meets with them almost on a daily basis. She was a liaison officer during the actual event, and I couldn't be more proud of what she's done and the workload that she took off of me during the storm and that she continues to do. Desiree, thank you very much. Kelly Soulsby's our part-time public information officer that was hired just for Helene. Kelly, are you here? Kelly has took so much off of Adrian and I crafting social media posts, managing our social media pages, interacting with the public. It's literally a full-time job, but she's doing it part-time, and we're so appreciative to have her. Thank you, Kelly. And then I'm so proud of our logistics chief, Sam Dirks. This was the first disaster she had worked. She came as a lieutenant assistant supervisor from EMS into logistics. Prior to Helene, the largest disaster in North Carolina history, and you would have thought that she was sitting at the state EOC or been trained there for years. Her and her staff, and there was so many people that helped her, but she executed logistics with the utmost precision, and couldn't be more proud of what she's done, and thank you very much. VOAD and Human Services, I think rounds out, our last slide here. Shannon Jones has been our Human Services Coordinator in the EOC. On Blue Sky Day, she is part of our community paramedic program as a social worker and EMT, and she executed our sheltering program with, I mean, it was amazing. It was flawless. From the EOC standpoint, were there issues that come up? There were. She corrected them. She always found a way to fix it. Steve Jones, her husband, volunteered and assisted us through response and even some in recovery. But the work Shannon has done, not only is she doing great work now, but even as, like today, she was out working again, trying to make sure we are planning, we are correcting any of our after-action items. And she was looking at shelter and operations today for our next storm as hurricane season is fast approaching. She does an amazing job for this county. 27, 28 years as a county employee, and we couldn't be more proud to have her on our team. So thank you, Shannon. And then the last two are VOAD. Our VOAD is one of the strongest folks that interact with Mr. Abernathy, or Mr. Wooten. Maybe Mr. Abernathy too, but Mr. Wooten. We were at a meeting on Friday together, and that was one of the common things that we heard about VOAD. Our VOAD is extremely strong. The VOAD integration into the EOC, just like our business EOC integration with Kim from the chamber, those are all model systems that serve our citizens well. And what our VOAD has been able to do is work with all the different organizations to accomplish within 6 months fixing over 340 projects, and I think that number is higher. I don't remember it right offhand, but they do an amazing job, and they do it out of the graciousness of their heart. Grace is paying for Victoria to work alongside us in the EOC to coordinate VOAD operations. And Jerry wasn't able to make it tonight, but I do want to recognize Victoria Gearing. It's like she's worked with us for 10 plus years. So appreciative. And please tell me I did not miss anyone.
Yes, you did. Everybody knows who I'm talking about. And we cannot let this go without saying thank you to you and to the team that you have built. This young man has carried a radio or a scanner on his side since he was about 5 years old. So it's no wonder that we are where we are, top in the nation. I'd put you and your team up against any of them. I've worked alongside of them with my career in law enforcement many times. And I'll tell you a quick story and I'll be done. William and I were on the sheriff's boat on the lake on July 4th, 2007, maybe?
It's close.
Close. Got word of a jet ski accident. We were at Benfield's Landing, and the accident was up near Black Bear. So we made haste and got there, and within, I'm going to say less than a minute, William is calling for a helicopter, diagnosed the man, and saved his life. William, that's only one incident, but we thank you so much for what you do in this county.
I appreciate it. Thank you. I want to say this in closing to the citizens of this county. This team that I recognize tonight is here for the long run. And we're not going anywhere. We're going to continue walking the walk right beside these folks during recovery. And we've still got a lot of work ahead. We've made significant progress. You can look at our waterways and smile. You can look at our roadsides and smile. You can look at some of our houses that have come back and smile. You can look at some of the businesses that have reopened or are coming back. There is hope in this community, but we still have a tremendous amount of work to be done. And I want the citizens of this county to know that when others may leave, if state and federal programs end, we still have the local faces that will be at that office. We can't always provide the assistance, but we'll always greet them with a commitment to give them everything we got to connect the dots and compassion to get them through one of the worst disasters in this county's history. I want to thank the team again. I want to thank all of our partners who have helped us, and there's so many, and there's some behind us, and all the emergency services groups in this county. It's truly a team effort, and our motto is one team, one mission, every day, every storm, and every call, because the why is our citizen. Thanks so much.
Okay. Now, was that part of the National Weather Service? We still got to do that.
Yes, sir.
Okay, William, if you will, come back up. We've got another recognition we want you to do tonight, so go ahead, sir.
No, it's my honor to recognize and publicly thank Trisha Palmer. She is the warning coordination meteorologist. She's the glue at National Weather Service Greenville Spartanburg that holds it all together. Trisha and I have worked together for many years. She is absolutely the best of the best and a trusted voice that our team listens to. An emergency manager has to have good information to make good decisions. Sometimes we make very split-second decisions based upon little to no information. But with Hurricane Helene, it was much different. The briefings started coming out early on Helene at the first of the week. But the thing with Helene that has never happened, and I've never saw in my career, is the briefings really never de-escalated they didn't de-escalate at all as they come out. We started hearing words of catastrophic flooding. This flood will be reminiscent of the 1916 flood. Well, we started reading about the 1916 flood very quickly. What they did at National Weather Service Greenville Spartanburg, Trisha and her team saved lives. It allowed us to perform evacuations early. It allowed us to do public warning and messaging early. And here again, it comes back to the one team, one mission. While we don't see them, and we're not even in the same state, I can promise you we've got each other's cell phone numbers. Those phone calls exchanged back and forth up until we didn't have a cell phone that operated. But these people saved lives. Trisha, her husband Josh Palmer, is a hydrologist at GSP, provides precise amount of information for rivers, lakes, and crests, and guides emergency managers for evacuations. It's imperative that the National Weather Service continue on with the level of personnel that they have. That office was already short-staffed, but without them, emergency managers cannot function with the precision that we have in past storms, and their mission is critically important. So I'd like to recognize Trisha to come up, thank her for her service, and allow her to say a few words if she'd like.
Good evening. I'm just happy to be here. The National Weather Service mission is to provide forecasts and warnings for the protection of life and property, and that's what we do every day in and day out. We really prefer the blue sky days, but we're here for the big days, and Helene was a big one. It was really something to be on the phone calls to emergency managers such as Will, and to relay the forecasts. And like I was telling Mr. Wooten, to hear silence on the other end of the line, because we knew that the emergency managers were feeling the weight of the responsibility of the citizens of their counties with this really horrific, catastrophic forecast. And this was one we really wanted to get wrong, and unfortunately we weren't. We knew it was going to be bad. We knew it was going to be, again, catastrophic. Between the rain, the flooding, the winds, the landslides, everything, you put it all together, and it was the worst natural disaster North Carolina has ever experienced. And we just really appreciate everything that Will and his folks have done to save lives. All we did was provide a forecast, but it was these folks that were boots on the ground to get the folks out of harm's way ahead of the event. So thank you all so much.
Well, your knowledge on your knowledge and forecast probably saved a lot of lives by getting that out early and to Will and these guys and letting them know what was coming. So you probably saved a lot of lives. So thank you.
It was a team effort.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Okay, moving along to item E under appointments, we have a zoning public hearing presented by Mr. Ron Harmon here tonight. So Ron, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Before you is a temporary zoning ordinance amendment. This would allow for RVs, mobile homes in zoned areas of the county that otherwise prohibited. The planning board based this on the need for Helene recovery. There are only 3 sections of the county that have zoning, and out of those, we've only had 1 call so far for temporary housing. This would allow for temporary housing across all the zoning districts to remain for 18 months from the date the permits are issued. Extensions may be granted to accommodate temporary housing remaining longer than 18 months. Planning staff will review variance requests of 90 days. Anything over 90 days will be a planning board request. It will relax the dimensional design standards, front yard, side yard setbacks, so that you can put your mobile home or RV on the same property that your house is that you're renovating. Permits must be in place within 12 months of the adoption of the amendment, and the amendment is directly related to homes damaged or lost from the effects of Hurricane Helene. And we emphasize that part, that we will do our best to make sure that what is permitted is for Hurricane Helene recovery. So we are asking for a public hearing to take comments and then ask for a vote on this.
Okay, I'll declare us in the public hearing mode, and we will start with the right side and see if you guys have any comments. Anybody over here have any comments on this? Does anybody on the left side have anything to say?
So I'm Joanne Dale, and I'm with Lake James Environmental Association. My concern would be, since these are temporary arrangements, with wastewater discharge from them, we want to make sure that any of our waterways are not getting contaminated. So are there things put in place right now, Ron, so that that would not occur?
These would have to go through the building inspections process and get environmental or sewer hookups. They would have to hook up like a regular home. They would be inspected and approved before somebody can move into them. So yes, they will be
Great.
fine.
Thank you.
You have to be approved by the health department. Any other comments or questions from the board? Okay, do I hear a motion to go out of?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right.
Mr. Chair, make a motion we approve the zoning ordinance amendment as presented.
Second.
Motion and second, discussion. All in favor of this, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you, Mr. Harmon. Next on the agenda, item F, is the McDowell Chamber of Commerce update, and we have Miss Kim Kehler here with us tonight. Kim, the floor is yours.
I'm not sure, but I will know how to find my presentation. Can everyone see that? Sort of.
Yeah.
How's that? Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me this evening. It's been a while since I've been with you, probably over a year, so it's great to be with you this evening. Before I jump into my presentation, I just wanted to share a funny story about Chick-fil-a. Many people do not understand the Chamber of Commerce. People do not get who we are, what we do, and how we do it, which is why I structured my presentation the way that I did. But my boy, who is here with me this evening, when he finally figured it out after years of his mom working at the Chamber of Commerce, he looked at me and he said, "You're the president of the Chamber of Commerce, and we don't have a Chick-fil-A. What kind of a president are you?" So we're still working on it, aren't we, Jack? So before I jump into my presentation, I'd like to recognize the members of my staff and my board that are here with me this evening. Their leadership, passion, and hard work are what power the Chamber's impact each and every day, and I'm incredibly grateful to stand by them on this journey. I've never felt so much strength and support in my board before. Tonight's presentation is titled "The State of the McDowell Chamber, Fueling Growth, Recovery, and Resilience," because that's what we do every single day. And that's what we remain committed to. We are not just a business association. We are a connective force between recovery and growth, between vision and action. And we're proud to be on the front lines of building a stronger and more resilient McDowell County. So who are we and why do we matter? To fully appreciate the depth of our work and why the Chamber is such a vital part of McDowell County's future, it helps to start with a clear picture of who we are and what we do and why it matters. The McDowell Chamber of Commerce is not a government agency. We are not a social club. We are a business-powered nonprofit organization driven by one mission: to advocate for support and elevate the businesses and people who fuel our local economy. Our work extends far beyond ribbon cuttings. We are connectors, problem solvers, and in times of crisis, first responders for our business community. We operate as both a 501c6 and a newly established 501c3 charitable foundation, which means we can both advocate for business and pursue grant funding and charitable support for direct community impact. We are a nonprofit, nonpartisan, and business member-driven organization, guided not by politics or profit, but by the needs and voices of McDowell County's entrepreneurs. And our work is focused every day on helping small businesses not just open their doors, but grow, adapt, and thrive. Because when small business succeeds, our whole community wins. I could spend an hour talking about our mission, but to summarize it, I'm going to do my best. Everything we do at the Chamber aligns with one clear purpose: to drive economic growth by connecting businesses with the services, resources, and advocacy that they need to succeed. We give business a voice, whether they're navigating workforce shortages, access to capital, policy changes, or post-disaster recovery. We work to remove barriers and open doors. From startups to long-standing employers, we provide hands-on support through marketing, network, leadership development, and personalized guidance. And we lead by bringing people together, businesses, education, nonprofits, and government, to build what's next for McDowell. From economic development initiatives, building a leadership culture and young professionals, and supporting challenges that impact workforce, we are often the thread that connects big ideas to real progress. I often sum up our role in this way: we connect and we eliminate barriers. From our largest industries to our smallest startups, we help businesses move forward with fewer roadblocks and more opportunities. Let's talk about the return on your investment. Your financial support through county funding plays a vital role in powering our mission. It allows us to fund key staff positions, operate longstanding programs, and form the partnerships that directly impact McDowell's economy. In 2025, county funding through our budget accounts for 8.6% of our total projected revenue, a modest but essential piece of our funding model. Of the $30,500 appropriated by McDowell County, $18,000 supports staffing, including the addition of a trail planner focused on McDowell's outdoor economy. $1,000 supports our LINK program, now in its 17th year. And $11,500 provides critical general operating support. I want to emphasize that with the exception of the trail planner funding, this allocation has not changed in quite some time, despite the growing scale and scope of our work. As a membership-driven organization, we know we can't put all of our eggs in one basket. That's why we've developed a diverse funding strategy, as you can see on this slide. From a dynamic event calendar and strong sponsorships to key partnerships like the Department of Transportation, which funds our operations at the largest visitor center in the county. We've also earned the trust of stakeholders who invest in us because they believe in our mission and in our momentum. The county's investment is unique. It is not just financial. It is a force multiplier. It gives us the capacity to lead, especially in times of need. On behalf of our entire team and the 450 businesses that we serve, thank you for your investment and your support in the Chamber. So what does your money make possible? What does all this look like in practice? In 2024, we hosted 20 events welcoming 870 guests, from intimate small business gatherings to large-scale networking programs. We celebrated 24 ribbon cuttings, each one a symbol of pride, progress, and local investment. We now hold a 47% market share of all McDowell County businesses and welcomed 67 members last year, despite having one quarter completely wiped off of our growth. We launched the Advocacy and Action newsletter that keeps members informed on legislation, policy shifts, and funding opportunities that may impact their business. Since July, our trail planner, Amanda Finn, has submitted 6 grant applications totaling $1.2 million, with 2 projects already underway. Phase 2 of the Fauna Flora Complex in Old Fort and the Black Bear Fauna Flora State Trail cleanup and designation. And our commitment to Hurricane Helene recovery remains strong from day one, actually from pre-Helene. We've helped lead response efforts, established pods, and distribute many grants to help businesses stabilize, reopen, and rebuild. I spent 2 days in Raleigh last week begging for support for our business community. And the McDowell Chamber Foundation quickly raised $93,000 and created a mini grant program directly supporting 180 individuals and 22 businesses through targeted recovery efforts. We will continue to lift our businesses impacted by Helene for what feels like years to come. This is what we do with bold action, strong partnerships, and McDowell's future always at the forefront. A humble brag, I would be remiss not to highlight one of our newest tools, and now an award-winning one. Last month, our Business Resource Guide received the CACCE, which is Carolina's Association of Chamber of Commerce Executives, Communication and Excellence Award, recognizing it as one of the best chamber communication initiatives in North and South Carolina. This guide was created with intention to equip entrepreneurs and new business owners with the knowledge and contacts they need to thrive right here in McDowell County. I brought a copy for each of you to look at when you'd like. So we don't just respond, we build forward. One example, a bold initiative years in the making, one that's about to reshape how we support small business and entrepreneurship in McDowell County. It's all part of our broader vision, which is outlined in the 2024 to 2027 strategic plan you have before you. I operate the Chamber of Commerce as a business, and without a plan, we don't know where we're going. This plan is a roadmap. It is action. It is not something that lays on a shelf and collects dust. This guides us in our future. These aren't just ideas. They're strategic, measurable commitments backed by our staff, endorsed by our board and our partners. We're not hoping for change. We're bringing it. As we look ahead, I'd like to share one final project that exemplifies our commitment to economic resilience and small business growth. The McDowell Downtown Incubator Project. Nearly 5 years in the making, this initiative is the result of tireless collaboration, strategic partnerships, and a bold vision. We've officially joined forces with the Catawba Vale Innovation Market to bring this project to life in the heart of downtown Old Fort, creating a space designed for us to manufacture business. What an idea. Not just products. This incubator will include office suites, co-working space, state-of-the-art conference facility, and educational programming, all aimed at helping entrepreneurs launch, grow, and ultimately succeed. This will be the only incubator of its kind in the 4-county region that the Foothills Regional Commission serves, making McDowell County a true leader in small business innovation. Our goal is to be under construction pending grant funding in 2026, and we're energized by the momentum building around this next chapter. In closing, I'll leave you with this. The McDowell Chamber is not just an organization. It is a promise to every small business owner who's taken a risk, to every worker building a future, to every stakeholder who believes in McDowell's potential. We are a voice, the advocate, and the action plan behind a thriving, resilient McDowell County. Your continued partnership makes all of this work possible, and together, we're not just recovering, we're reinventing what's possible. Thank you for your time, and I am happy to answer any questions that you all might have.
That was a great presentation, Kim, as always. You do a wonderful job.
It's hard to follow William Kehler. I knew I had to bring it.
That's what I always say when I have to follow the mayor when we have something. Any questions, comments?
I hope you all.
Looking forward to the last time you mentioned the incubator and,
Yes.
and what's going to happen out of that.
We're excited.
That could be really big.
It will be.
Yeah.
It will be. Thank you all so much.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next we move on to old business, and under item A on old business, we have the water system project update, Mr. Williams.
Yes, sir. A couple of quick updates on our water systems. I did use plural there. On the Nebo side of things, if you drive through the community, you will see, depending on where you are, you might see activity. And right now, what we would call phase 2 of our major expansion project that started about 2.5 years ago. That work, like I said, is underway. We've actually certified a very small section and placed it in service. And so this is an area around Old Number 10 Memorial Park Road. We continue to loop back towards City of Marion, where we will tie in there with a master meter around what was known as the attic for many years. So again, that work continues. Our East End project, which is around the state park, around the Marion Lake Club area, we have a pre-construction meeting later this week, and that's a very massive project that will assist about 100 homes with water. Will take probably 9 to 10 months of work, but it'll be very disruptive to that community. So it's very important that we coordinate it very carefully with the contractor and the engineer. Both of those projects I've mentioned were funded by the American Rescue Plan Act. We have a very small extension that is planned under what we call phase 3, depending on if we have any remaining funds from the prior 2 projects. We're working on that design now, and it has to be in the Nebo area. And we have a 4th project around Exit 90 that is different funding, is Appalachian Regional Commission funding, which is federal. It's a federal ongoing program that is designed, but it's under review by our staff right now. And then shifting westward, the area towards West Marion Elementary, that design is close to being what is called a 60% milestone, and that just means it's about 2/3 of the way done with the design. I think it was last month I mentioned that our lead project engineer had left the firm. We did meet with other folks in that firm. They've just picked up the ball and are running with it. They had some questions to try to get acclimated with it, but it is still underway. We have identified a master meter location with the property owner. And one important note here, due to topography and elevation, we might have to do a booster station here, which we've never had to do in Nebo, since the area of Nebo is lower than where the city's water tank is. And so we might have to, through easement or otherwise, acquire a location separate from the master meter for a booster station. That essentially just helps push the water out, so you have pressure for folks that need to use it for domestic purposes as well as fire suppression. Any questions about the water updates?
Okay. Let's move on down to B and get a broadband update, Mr. Williams.
Yes, sir. I don't have your quarterly reports from the state on the great funded project, which is through the Spectrum Corporation, or the CAB funded, which is for Skyrunner. But we have spoken with both organizations fairly recently, and they continue to do work. They've picked up where they had left off before Helene in both their respective areas. Mr. Harmon and I did participate in a process to identify and select a company that would be under a second round of CAB funding, which is completing access to broadband. I was hoping that would have been announced by now by the state, but hopefully in the next week or so that will be announced. I think that was close to 800 homes, roughly, that it was identified by that company. I'm not allowed to disclose at this time who it would be, but again, hoping to chip away further at our deficit, and I believe that would leave about 1,300 or 1,400 households that are unserved by broadband. There are other funding opportunities to come, again, primarily federal funding that has been previously allocated for that. So any questions about broadband?
Mr. Chairman, I do want to make a statement that when the GREAT grant and the CAB grant are completed, you said there'd be 1,300 to 1,400 homes possibly.
That's our understanding.
So definitely want to make sure that we advocate and seek funding to complete the broadband of those remaining houses.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, moving into new business, under item A, under new business will be the budget update. Mr. Williams.
Yes, sir. I do not have any budget amendments for the current year's budget this month, but you do have your property tax collection report as well as your sales tax report. I will note that, as you know, the budget process is underway. You have had meetings with our educational partners on the external side. The internal side, we have received our budget requests. I think today was maybe the deadline for our departments, and we have received, I think, most of those, and so we'll show a few days grace for those that haven't, because they've been otherwise occupied. But we will present the budget in May, and as we lead up to it, as you have questions, anybody, especially from an external agency, approaches you, as is pretty common, and you have a question, please just let either myself or Ms. Bell know. Do our best to respond.
Okay. Next, new business, item B, which is the Gold Rush 5K road closure.
Yes, sir. This is an annual request from the Ruritan Club in Glenwood to close Piley Spout Road for a short time on the morning of June 7th.
Make a motion to accept the motion as presented.
Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Next is administrative items, Mr. Wooten.
Yes, sir. You have 3 items. One is the monthly EMS uncollectible accounts. Number 2 are a couple of minor policy changes from our transit director for riders that affect those that maybe have maybe poor behavior on the vehicles. And then lastly is a reimbursement resolution to allow us to go ahead and purchase excuse me, vehicles for the sheriff's office and then seek the financing at a later date.
Pleasure, board.
Mr. Chairman, make a motion to approve the EMS write-offs, the transport policy changes, and the reimbursement resolution as presented.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Next will be item D is board appointments. Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Chairman. You've got your memo with your vacancies listed. We do have a request from staff of the Historic Preservation Council to change their committee members from 7 to 5.
What's the pleasure of the board?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor of this say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I'll note for the record, those are vacant seats. We're not eliminating anyone that's on there, so
Yes.
will help with quorum and that sort of thing.
Yes.
And then there's 2 applications for consideration for the Library Board of Trustees. One's for the Marion position. It's Vicki Blankenship. Ms. Blankenship has a master's degree in library. Sounds like very qualified.
What's the pleasure of the board?
Is this for 2?
One's for the Marion position
And
and
one's
one's
for
for the
all
Old
four.
Fort.
Move we approve.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
And Mr. Green, was your motion for both?
Yes.
Or, okay. All right, and the last one, we have an applicant for the Focal Point Advisory Committee. 2 came off, so Mr. Prebor sent one for Terry Wilson of Old Fort.
Make a motion we approve.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor of that, say aye.
Aye.
Terry would be a good one on that board. Yep. Any
That's all.
others?
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Madam Clerk. Next, item E will be tax matters. Mr. Wood.
Yes, sir. These are your typical releases and refunds for the tax department.
Sharon, make a motion we approve the tax matters as presented.
Second.
Discussion on that? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Thank you. Now, citizen comments. Fred, do we have any signed up? Okay.
I know your practice generally isn't to respond, it's
Exactly.
your discretion, but I will mention, if it's okay, on an item for affordable housing, 'cause it's probably of interest. Mr. Abernathy mentioned the Gateway Wellness Foundation. We have partnered with Gateway Wellness Foundation to provide a little bit of funding in partnership with the city towards the cost of installing sewer to property on the east side of Marion. It used to be called the Johnny Banks Mobile Home Park. Many people might know that. There's about 15 homes that will be set aside for moderate income folks that will apply through Gateway Wellness. So it's a
2-bedroom, 1-bath houses, right, Ashley?
right, and so it's a start, but it'll be transformative for that community. So I just thought it would be.
And I would also add too, the board's worked with McDowell Tech and other community partners for probably 4 years on the property and actually deeded to the city property down there near the Universal Skills Center, the college. That would have been, how many unit apartment complex, workforce housing was the primary target group. How many units was that supposed to be, actually?
It was over 100 units.
Yeah, and so what happened is the cost just took off and they couldn't afford to build it. And so it's not dead, but it's still on life support, but it's still actively being pursued.
Okay. Moving on to Commissioner staff reports. Do we have anything?
None to add at this point, sir.
Anything from commissioners? All right. Now, in pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 143-31811, do I hear a motion that we go into closed session?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion to go out of closed
So
session?
moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Second.
All in favor? Aye.